Hello, I'm Dallas Johnson, lead instructor of the Automobile Dealer Training Association, and I am approved by the California Department of Motor Vehicles to provide your California dealer pre-license training and your California dealer continuing education training. And in your course, I'm going to go extensively into the dealer insurance requirements that fall under state guidelines, okay? Now, you're not required to have insurance on your inventory before you get your license. Most states do require that, but in the state of California, you're going to be able to get your dealer's license, but you will need to get insurance before you actually start purchasing inventory at dealer auctions. And most dealer auctions now are requiring that you do some type of proof of insurance before you can buy vehicles at that dealer auction. And I want you to be aware, dealer insurance is kind of unique in nature. Dealer insurance is going to cover you, when your customers are test driving a motor vehicle. It's going to be covering you when you're driving vehicles back and forth from the dealer auction. It's also going to cover you if somebody comes and breaks their leg in your office or something like that. It's got medical coverage. Normally, most policies will have medical coverage built in there to protect you when you get your license, okay? Now, there are a lot of insurance agents that will not sell a policy to a dealer, and the ones that will sell a policy to a dealer will not do it until they have 3 years of experience. So in your course, I'm going to show you how to find out who will sell you this insurance, because there are really only a small handful of insurance companies in the state of California that will write a policy for you if you've never owned a dealership. So with that being said, the price is really going to vary quite a bit from insurance agent to insurance agent. You might find one insurance agent on one side of the street that's asking, $600 to $1,200 a year for a policy, and then you'll find out the insurance agent right across the street from her might be asking $5,000 a year for the same coverage. So I'm definitely going to cover in your course how to find the cheapest insurance rates. And I do want you to be aware, there are a couple of different factors that are going to affect your pricing. First is going to be your personal driving record. So if you've got a horrendous driving record, you're going to pay higher rates. If you've got a good driving record, your rates are going to be quite a bit lower. Dealership ownership experience. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but since you're probably getting your license for the very first time, you are going to pay the highest rates. However, when you have a license for 3 years, you should see a dramatic reduction in your policy pricing. And if you haven't, I'm going to strongly encourage you to go out and get some quotes with other companies, because once you've had 3 years of experience, there's a lot of other companies that will give you a quote. As with any policy, geographic area. Okay, the closer you get to a downtown core, the higher your rates are going to be. The more you get down to a suburban or rural area, the lower your rates are going to be. And it's also determined on the number of dealer plates. And in your dealer training course, I'm going to show you how to order dealer plates. If you want to use dealer plates, I'm going to show you exactly how to order them. I'm going to show you exactly how to legally use them. And in your course, I'm going to show you exactly how to order your dealer plates. I'm always going to recommend that you operate with the least amount of dealer plates, because that will keep your insurance rates down just a little bit. Now, there are basically seven different types of insurance that you'll be able to have when you're a dealer. First of all, we're going to talk about dealer liability. We'll talk about dealer's open lot, garage keepers, errors and omissions, employment practices liability, workers' compensation, and what we call false pretense. Let's talk about dealer liability first. Dealer liability is just like liability on your own vehicle. So think about this scenario. If you have dealer liability and your customer in a rare scenario wrecks one of your demos into another person's vehicle, it's going to fix the other person's property. It'll never fix your property because it's dealer liability. Okay, it only covers another party's property. Now, this is going to be the least amount of cost for you, but it also gives you the least amount of coverage, okay? But if you want to just get your foot in the door with the dealer liability policy, I'll show you exactly how to do that in your dealer training course. Now, I'm also going to recommend, I strongly encourage you to consider getting this policy, which you might think of this as full coverage, but in our industry, we refer to this as dealer's open lot. Now, dealer's open lot coverage does not cover like a specific amount of vehicles that you own. It's going to cover a dollar amount, okay? So, if you built up, say, for example, $50,000 worth of inventory, you need $50,000 worth of open lot coverage. We're in a state with hail, tornadoes, earthquakes. I've seen more than one dealer have an entire inventory wiped out from some storm that wasn't even a tornado. When you have a hailstorm, I've seen entire inventories wiped out from hail. Also, something else you might not think about, I read a case here in Los Angeles about a dealer that showed up one morning and someone had broke into his office and stole 14 sets of keys out of his office and stole 14 cars off the lot in Los Angeles in one night. So I want you to be very aware. If you ever show up to your location and your entire inventory is gone, you're not going to be the first dealer in California that has actually happened to. So as you're acquiring inventory, you definitely need to make sure you have enough coverage. You might start out with dealer liability, but I'm going to recommend that if you have any inventory, I recommend you go ahead and make a little bit more of an investment and get the open lot coverage. That way, if you do have something happen to your inventory, you'll never go into financial ruin. So I'm going to show you how to get that insurance as well in your dealer training course. Garage Keepers is an optional type of insurance that you can talk to your insurance agent about. It's going to cover vehicles that customers leave for repair. Like maybe if you've got a repair shop and those customers are leaving vehicles overnight, it would cover their vehicle. So an easy way to remember this, if you keep a garage, you need Garage Keepers. That should also cover like a theft of tools and things like that as well. Errors and omissions is an insurance policy that will protect you if you fail to comply like with Federal Trade Commission Lending Act rules or failure to disclose FTC buyer's guides on your vehicles. And in the course, I'm going to cover that extensively with you. So if you do allow me to become your dealer license training partner, I'm going to go extensively into those documents. So hopefully you'll never need errors and omissions. But if you're getting into large volume of vehicles, that is something that you certainly might want to look into. Like if you accidentally forgot to disclose previous damage that you weren't aware of, and I'm going to show you how to run vehicle history reports on your vehicles so you will be able to find out previous damage history. Employment practices liability is going to protect you. Say, for example, if one of your employees was sexually harassing another one, I'm going to show you how to avoid sexual harassment in your business. Maybe you were paying the incorrect wage, or maybe you did not promote the right person or something like that. This would protect you if you have employees, and this is something you can talk to your insurance agent about as well. We're going to delve into workers' compensation in your dealer training course, and workers' compensation protects employees when they're injured on the job. So you're going to have employees, workers' compensation, and it's so important to know, when you're hiring employees, if for some reason you had an employee that was injured on the job, it's going to cover that. If for some reason, a business in the state of California doesn't have workers' compensation, first of all, that's illegal and there's huge fines for that. But if your employee gets injured on the job and you don't have workers' compensation, guess who's going to be liable for those hospital bills? It's going to be you. So I don't want you to be intimidated by this. Workers' compensation is actually a very affordable type of insurance because all employers in the state of California are paying into a fund. Okay, but it is a requirement, and I'll talk a little bit more about that requirement in your dealer training course. False pretense insurance is if somebody buys a vehicle from you under false pretense. So let's say, for example, I come into your dealership and I use a stolen ID to buy a vehicle from you, then that would cover you. So do please keep that in mind. False pretense is something you want to maybe talk to your insurance agent about. I want you to be aware right now, if you do not have insurance, you'll face significant fines, possible dealer license revocation as well, and possible driver's license revocation. Okay, so if you're allowing customers to drive a bunch of inventory on like a second occurrence with no insurance, the state could possibly revoke your driver's license. So, the cost of the insurance, it really varies from insurance agent to insurance agent. So in your dealer training course, I'm going to show you, hopefully, how to get the cheapest rates. I've been doing this for a long time, helping entrepreneurs like you get their insurance, and I'm going to give you some guidance on that in your dealer training course. I am approved by the California Department of Motor Vehicles to provide your pre-license training. The state does require you take a 6-hour training course. You can take that online. You can go to californiadealer.com, click on that big blue Begin Training button. I'm going to do my very best in that training course to steer you in the right direction. I've been training motor vehicle dealers for many, many years, entrepreneurs just like you. If you've never owned a business in your entire life, I'm going to take you from scratch and show you how to fill out all the documentation and apply for your dealer license correctly. But more importantly, after you get your dealer's license, there's just some simple rules and guidelines that I'm going to cover with you so you can maintain 100% compliance. Dealer licenses are tightly regulated because dealer licenses tend to have a very high profit margin, and anytime you're getting a high profit license from the state, there tends to be some training involved. So if you want to get an insurance license, that's profitable. You have to take training. You want to get a real estate license, that's profitable. You have to take training. You want to get a dealer's license, that's going to be profitable as well. And by the way, on a side note, I've had a real estate license, I've had an insurance license, and I've had a dealer's license, and I made much more with my dealer's license than I ever did in real estate and insurance combined. So once again, my name is Dallas Johnson. I am approved by the California Department of Motor Vehicles to provide your 6-hour pre-license course. And if you are a currently licensed dealer, I can also provide your continuing education course. So thank you very much. I really do appreciate you considering me to become your dealer license training partner. You can go to californiadealer.com. Once again, that is californiadealer.com, and click on that begin training button. And I'm going to welcome you into this incredible business. Thank you very much.